All right. As I get into the meat of this video, I want to discuss some things that I've learned along the way through reading and observation, and want to try to impart to you here as effectively as I can. Sometimes I have difficulty explaining it because it's a lot for me to wrap my mind around, but I guess in this one I want to talk about how, deconstructing what cultural Marxism is and its effects on a culture, and how this way of thinking actually results in being actually kind of in love with the oppressor. Because you see, here's the thing, as I was explaining before in another one of my videos, what Marxism is. And in order for Marxism to be successfully implemented, you got to have two major groups. You got to have a majority dominant group and a minority or oppressed group. That's for it to work effectively, and that's kind of, if you go by logic, that's how it works. And as I say, the two groups that have been the most severely affected by this cultural Marxism are blacks and American Indians, and that's what even Alexis de Tocqueville in his book Democracy in America kind of expounded on. He talked about the three major races in America, and he talked about the one that was the most successful and the two less successful ones. So that was how he viewed it. It was a good book. It was written a long time ago. And by the way, Alexis de Tocqueville was actually he was from France. He was a foreigner from France visiting America for the first time. So he was giving an outside view of it all, as unbiased as he could. So anyway, what's this? Well, I'll try to talk through this. I don't know what it is, but anyways, as I was saying, that's what cultural Marxism is in a nutshell. And how it can be successfully implemented. I'll try to walk through this here and then can resume my talk here. Uh-oh. Anyway, okay, as I was saying, the whole thing about the whole premise of cultural Marxism is having a dominant and less dominant minority class. That has to be implemented to work. And like I said, with the blacks being dependent on white people constantly, because you see, here's the thing, if you look at all of these ghettos and reservations in the US or Western culture, you'll almost always see that there's white people at the forefront of it all, kind of owning and maintaining this. And a lot of these, so-called activist groups like Black Lives Matter, Antifa, what's the other one? Oh, the AIM movement, American Indian movement. are owned by it's white liberals at the head of it all. And like Lord Churchill, you know, who is a white guy posing as an Indian with a supposed grudge against America, thinking that America owes the Indian people, you know, the colonialists owe the Indian people. What it basically has people doing, what it has the minority classes doing, is resent, and this is mostly a left-wing philosophies. There's right-wing philosophies too that go, when they go into extremism, that it's not good, you know, but, and they do actually oppress the minorities, but like, you know, Hitler's Germany and stuff, the Nazis, but now that's neither here nor there, and I'll go into that in another video. But anyway, with this these left-wing ideologies, totalitarian, which is Marxism and anarchism mainly, the groups that are at the forefront, this cop-hating, white colonialist-hating groups, what happens is kind of this reverse type of thinking and psychology that results in these minority groups actually being kind of in a strange way in love with white people. They're dependent, they're chronically dependent on the majority class, like, you know, in this case, white people, white European colonialists and that regime, and they'll never be able to get out from under it. So that's kind of where that goes. And what also happens is it results in this crabs in a barrel mentality, and nobody is able to escape. And if somebody tries to escape or does escape, they're called race traitors and sellouts and all sorts of names, because that's really what the left does to keep their people in line and check, is they resort to bullying tactics as such. Coons, sellouts, Uncle Toms, Apples, whatever, you know, to keep their people down. They're kept permanently down and permanently in submission to white people. And once you're able to deconstruct this, it does make sense, and you're able to even feel some empathy and pity for the opposing groups, or in some cases for the people that you see being subjected to the tyrannical abuse of their own people. Because as it turns out, I mean, really, it's the, you know, with the American Indians, it's their own people that are trying to keep them down, and with the blacks, it's their own people trying to keep them down. They don't even know they're being ordered around and running errands. They're running errands caused by these white Antifa people and other people that are running these groups. So they're just following orders. Again, they're not thinking for themselves, and they're believing a philosophy that's anti-intellectual, well, it's against their own people. They think they're for them, but they're not. They're not for them. They're actually against them. They're in a regressive state constantly, and they're not able to escape. So that, in a nutshell, is what it is. And as I've seen on the internet, especially Facebook, when I tried to do an in-depth study of this, and even did my own research and had discussions with people of all different walks of life, and I tried to get to the root of this whole problem, and it is that. I mean, the true foundation is that they have no God, and that's inevitably what's causing them to self-destruct. But all these are all kind of side or secondary causes of rejecting God, and it does result in destruction of their culture and their identities, And the male image as it stands these days, due to the lack of fatherly influence and advice and guidance, has resulted in these communities regressing. And they are regressing, especially the American Indians. So yeah, it's kind of tough pills to swallow. But those who are in the red pill world and not stuck in the blue pill matrix, they're able to see and understand this. I apologize about the earlier interruption. I didn't expect that. But anyways, I got to say what I wanted to say. If you like this video, please like and subscribe to this channel. Thank you.